In my experience, Yosemite is the hardest national park to get a campsite reservation at. So today I want to talk you through all the ins and outs and hopefully offer up some really helpful tips and tricks so that you can camp inside of Yosemite National Park. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes, and I visit Yosemite pretty often. We're also really big campers, and so you will find us in the parks camping all the time. And Yosemite, without fail, is one of those parks where it's just so anxiety-inducing trying to get these campsite reservations and trying to make something work, because it is so competitive. So today I want to talk to you all about camping. We'll go through your different options, and I'll also offer up some tips so that you can get the campsite reservations you need. Yosemite is a large national park, and it has 13 front country campgrounds. So today we're talking about those front country campgrounds, not anything in the back country. These are all campgrounds that you can drive to and that are the more traditional camping experience, where you have your vehicle with you and you bring in all your stuff via vehicle. So those are the campsites that we're talking about today. A couple of things that you'll really want to note about camping in Yosemite is that there is a 14-day stay limit during the main summer season. So from about May through September, you'll have a 14-night stay limit. And if you plan on camping in Yosemite Valley, that goes down to 7. So you can only spend 7 of those nights in the valley. The other thing is there are no RV hookups in this park. There are some dump stations, and you can shower in Curry Village, which is down in Yosemite Valley. But as far as getting any electrical hookups or anything like that, you won't find those in the national park itself. You have a 2-vehicle limit. This is bear country, and so strict food and anything that has a scent, all of that needs to be packed away. You need to be really careful about how you're camping when you're in bear country, so take note of that. And each campsite only fits 6 people, so if you have more than that, then you will need to book either a group campsite or multiple single campsites. Let's take a look at the park map, and I will walk you through the different campground options. Here's a map of Yosemite and its campgrounds. So most people want to stay in Yosemite Valley. That's the main central area of the park where you see all those beautiful pictures. And there are 4 campgrounds here in Yosemite Valley. So this map doesn't show them each individually, but you've got Upper Pines, you've got Lower Pines, and North Pines. And all of those are kind of back here towards the end of the loop. And then you've got Camp 4, which is more over here. These campgrounds are the most competitive campgrounds in the park. It is so hard to get a camping reservation in Yosemite Valley. So if you have your heart set on that, that's fine. You'll want to follow my instructions to a T to make sure that you give yourself the best chance of actually getting one of these sites. But I would definitely have a backup option or 2 just in case you're not able to get something in the valley. All of the campgrounds in Yosemite Valley are extremely picturesque. Upper Pines is open year-round. The other ones are seasonal. North Pines has a special early access lottery attached to it that they've been doing these past couple of years. And so that one, if you plan far enough in advance, you can put your name in for the lottery. And if you're chosen for that, then you can try to make a reservation there before they open it up to everybody else. Still doesn't guarantee you a reservation, but it does give you a better shot at getting something in Yosemite Valley. Lower Pines is right there too. It's a really great option. That one's open seasonally, but if you can get a spot there, I highly recommend it. Camp 4 is a little bit different than your traditional camping experience. So it's a walk-in only campground. You park and then you have to take all of your gear to a site. And this campground really is catered more towards rock climbers. That's its historical significance. So it's different in that you're paying a per person fee to camp here, and each site holds up to 6 people. And so you'll pay per person and say, I have 4 people in my group. Well, they might throw another 2 people into your campsite with you if there's availability there. So you're not actually reserving a specific campsite. You'll get assigned the campsite when you get there, and it's just all kind of on a per person basis. So keep that in mind too, that Camp 4 is a little bit unique and a different camping experience than you're probably used to. Now is also a good time to note that this information might change at any time. Yosemite has been messing with a lot of their campground reservation systems, how they're doing it, when you can make the reservations. They just switched everything over to reservation only, no first come, first serve during the main summer season. And they're just always trying new things to kind of make it more user-friendly and easy, in quotation marks, to get these campground reservations. So this information will change. It's fluid. Be sure to check the Yosemite website for the most up-to-date information. But this video is current as of recording time. All right, so then if we head south of Yosemite Valley, there's a couple campground options here. You've got Bridal Veil Creek, which is located along the Glacier Point Road. This is actually a really great location. Glacier Point is really cool, and you're not that far from Yosemite Valley. So this is a good option. And then if you go further south down on the park road, you'll get to the Wawona campground, which is near the Mariposa Grove giant sequoias. There's not a whole lot more to do down here, and so this area is a little bit quieter. It's a little bit further from the valley. You've got about 45 minutes to an hour to drive to get up to the valley. But again, it's so competitive to get campsites in Yosemite that if you need to go to Wawona to be able to camp in the park, you can definitely make that work. Heading north of Yosemite Valley, this is where you'll find most of the campgrounds in the park. So you've got Crane Flat right here, which is a really great option. It's easy access into Yosemite Valley from there. You just got to go down a big mountain to get down to the valley. You've got Hodgdon Meadow a little bit further out, but again, it's still a really good option if you're not able to get into Yosemite Valley. So this one, again, will take about 45 minutes to an hour to get you down into the valley from there, but it's not so far out that you'll just be sad that you're staying there. It's a really good location. Then if we head over this road right here that goes from east to west through the park is the Tioga Road, and this road is the last part of Yosemite to open during the season. It stays really snowy. It gets to almost 10,000 feet above sea level. So you will find a lot of campgrounds up here. These are smaller campgrounds with the exception of Tuolumne Meadows, which is a larger campground. But the further out you go from Yosemite Valley, it makes it less ideal to base your trip out of one of these campgrounds. If you do decide to stay in one of these campgrounds, then I would recommend trying to do a couple of nights up here and then a couple of nights somewhere down in here. I personally have camped along the Tioga Road. We like to stay in the Tamarack Flat campground if we've got to be up there because, again, it's a little bit closer to Yosemite Valley than some of the other ones, and so you can get down into the valley within about an hour's drive or so, which makes it an okay base camp for while you're in Yosemite if you don't want to move multiple nights or if you don't want to go from one campsite to another. Each of these campgrounds is a little bit different. They've got some different things that you'll want to know. So if you head to dirtandmyshoes.com, I have all of them listed out, everything you need to know about them, links to making reservations for them, and so that you can see, if you're in a trailer, does it have a dump station? Does it have, how long can my trailer be? When is the open season? All of that is listed here at dirtandmyshoes.com. Now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of actually getting your campsite reservation in Yosemite. And again, this information is fluid. They may change these dates, they may change the process, and so you'll want to check the Yosemite website to make sure that this is still current. But as of right now, there are campgrounds that are reservable 5 months in advance, 2 weeks in advance, and 1 week in advance. And so you've got some that you've got to plan further ahead for, and others that are more they're trying to give you kind of a first come, first serve feel to some of these other ones where it's like, 2 weeks in advance, you can maybe get a spot. That's the setup right now. So I'm on the Yosemite website, and this has the most up-to-date information for getting your campsite reservations. I will link this website below the video so that you can go and check it against the information in this video. But basically you'll see, so here's the Yosemite Valley campsites These ones are 5 months ahead, these 3, and you'll make that reservation on the 15th, 5 months ahead. And so I'll show you this on recreation.gov to be able to tell when that actually goes available, because that I feel like is really confusing. You'll also notice, as I mentioned with North Pines, they do have a lottery system to get early access to make these reservations. So you'll want to click over to that if you're interested in that. Camp 4 is the only campground in the park as of right now that is 1 week ahead. You'll make your reservation 1 week in advance for this one. Going down, you'll see there's another 5 months. Bridal Veil Creek is 2 weeks in advance. And then you'll get down in here, you've got another 5 months, and then the rest of these are 2 weeks in advance. So you'll want to double check this. The other thing you'll want to look at is the water situation. So as I mentioned, a lot of these campsites along the Tioga Road are much smaller. They're not as fancy. And so if it says creek water, that means that you need to boil your water. It means you can't drink it straight out of the tap. It also means that you have pit toilets and not flush toilets. So these ones are a little bit more rustic. With Yosemite campgrounds, it is critical that you do your research in advance. So you'll want to take all this information, make sure that you know exactly when you need to make your reservations depending on the campground that you're hoping to get. I, again, would try for multiple options. Just leave yourself open and really flexible for being able to get these campsite reservations in Yosemite, but do your research beforehand. Now I want to show you how to actually get the reservation on recreation.gov. Okay, so if you go to recreation.gov and you'll put in Yosemite, and you can do Yosemite National Park. If you see the campground pop up, then you can do it that way, but we'll just go to the main Yosemite site here. And then I'm going to click on camping and day use, and it's going to show me all the campgrounds that I can make a reservation for. Let's take a look at Hodgson Meadow. That's a larger campground that's not quite as competitive as some of the other ones, but let's take a look and I can show you kind of what to expect. So when you get in here, you'll see that all the campsites are listed out. And if there's availability, you'll see these A's. The R means it's already been reserved. So you can put in your dates right up here. Let's say we want to go mid-July. And it's going to put in those dates there for me. And you can see for the date that I put in, everything is reserved. There's nothing there that is available, but there are a couple over here. And then what I'm talking about when I mentioned to do research is that you'll want to actually put in your filters. So if you want a tent only, if you want a standard, if you want a walk-in. So if it's a walk-in, that means that you can't park your car right where your campsite is. You have like a small parking lot where you'll park and then you have to walk all your stuff to your campsite. They also don't let you sleep in your vehicles in these walk-in ones. So if you have a van or anything like that, you can't get one of these. You need to get a standard site. If you have a certain type of equipment, you'll want to put that in. If you have vehicle length, you'll want to put that in. So you'll want to filter it by what you actually need. And then it will pop up the list of sites that fit that criteria. At that point, you're going to want to click through each campsite individually. And that's why I'm saying you got to start this process pretty early. But you'll click through each campsite individually. And then you'll want to come down here and you'll want to look at the specifications of this campsite. And so you can see this one can only fit a 20-foot trailer. It can fit a 30-foot RV. The reason those are different is because the access to get to the campsite, there's not good access for a trailer that's longer, but with an RV you could make it. So you'll want to pay attention to that. You'll want to make sure the max number of vehicles match what you need. And again, you'll want to read through all of this. You'll see due to maneuverability. So you don't want to be outside of these lengths that they give you. That is really important in this park. You'll want to pay close attention to that. If that campsite fits your criteria, then I would write that down and I would keep a list of the campsites that will work for you and mark down the ones that are your favorite that you want to try for first. Okay, so then when you get back to this page and you have your list of campsites that will work, you'll want to be here at 7 a.m. Pacific time. And in fact, come about 10 minutes early. Make sure you're logged into recreation.gov. Make sure you've already made that account because you don't want to be doing that the morning of. And then as soon as the clock strikes 7 a.m., these sites will become available if they're available, and you'll click on it and push add to cart literally as fast as you can. You want to have that add to cart button pushed immediately at 7 a.m. if you can. Now, because these have already been released and this is already available, it's not going to let me show you that. But let's move forward a little bit in dates. Let's go to September. Now you'll see there is more availability here because these sites have been recently released. So you do have some good options here. Again, just saying, if you can be a little bit more flexible, or if you can get in here and you can maybe not stay in the valley but stay close, then you do have some options available to you for camping in Yosemite National Park. If we move over a little bit to these dates, then you'll see these all say NR. That means these have not been released yet. So if you get on here and you're seeing a bunch of NR for your dates, that means they've not been released yet, and you will want to make sure that you know when they're going to be released. To do that, you're going to hover over the campsite. You'll see it says click to learn more, and then it tells you the exact date and time that you need to be here again trying to get this campsite. So this is really helpful because, like I said, when it says 5 months in advance on the 15th of the month, it's like, I don't really know what that means. That's kind of hard to figure out for a lot of people. And so if you just come in here and you're seeing these NRs and you click, you can see all of these are on 5/15. Okay, so I hope that that was helpful without being able to actually show you how to get a campsite in real time. But when you get on there, your screen will look different than mine, but hopefully that walks you through kind of what to expect and what you'll see there. Okay, I have a couple more tips for you. Hopefully this is helpful. But beyond being there at 7 a.m. Pacific time, like immediately, like ready to click that booking now button, like you've got to be there. Beyond that and beyond doing your research beforehand and having a list of campsites that will work for you, which is so important because you don't want to get in there and be trying to figure that out as they become available. You absolutely won't get a site doing it that way. So you really do need to know which sites you're going for and which ones will work for you because you're making a reservation by individual campsite. So you need to know exactly which campsite you want. On top of that, I always recommend having every person in your group who will be camping with you, 18 and above, have them go and make their own recreation.gov account and have them try for the campsites as well. So as long as that person will be staying in the campsite, then you can all try for that campground reservation. You can't have like your mom or dad do it if they're not going camping with you. That won't work. But if your parents are coming camping with you, then all three of you should be trying to get a campsite in Yosemite. Another thing that's really helpful is being more flexible with your dates so that you have more tries each day to try to get a campsite. That helps too, especially with the ones that are 2 weeks in advance on a rolling basis. Those will become available every single day. And so you can try multiple days in a row to try to get a site. And the last thing that I do to try to get camping in Yosemite is I will actually go and make campsite reservations at a campsite outside of the park, but still within reaching distance of where I want to be. And I will make those campsite reservations further in advance than the 5 months. I just make sure that they're refundable so that if I'm able to get something in Yosemite, I can cancel the ones that I've made outside of the park. But if I'm not able to get something in Yosemite, then I still have an alternate camping option for myself for those dates. A lot of times you can go in and you can get somebody else's cancellation as it gets closer to your trip. And so that's why I like to hold campsite reservations outside of the park at the same time. And then if I see someone's cancellation in Yosemite, then I can snatch that one up and then I can cancel my reservations outside of the park. So those are a couple different ways that I have found are really useful for getting campsites in Yosemite, and I really hope that you're able to get what you need. For even more Yosemite trip planning help, I've got a bunch of videos here on my channel, so be sure to subscribe and watch those. You can also go to dirtandmyshoes.com where I have a whole bunch of articles that will walk you through this in depth. And I have a Yosemite itinerary that will show you hour by hour what I would do in the park to make the most of your visit. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you have a great time in this beautiful national park.